Please like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and please press the bell icon so that you get to know when my latest video has come. And to learn more and to find a video relevant to you, please do check out my videos list.
Hello, Namaskar and Adab to my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. One of the requests which has come to me frequently is to do conjunctions of different planets, and usually the request comes to me that sir, please can you do a Saturn and Jupiter conjunction in this particular sign or in this particular house, or can you do a Sun and Venus conjunction in this particular sign. So here people are talking about their specific placements in their specific houses, in their specific horoscopes. So I wanted to do a series on conjunctions some time back, but I'm doing it now because firstly, conjunctions are to be read in a very intricate manner, in a very detailed manner, in a very close manner, rather than looking at it only at 70,000 feet level. Of course, you see it at the 70,000 feet level also, but you look at them very closely also, because conjunctions can be very tricky to analyze. So I'm doing this series on conjunctions starting with today. So first, this video is going to be how do you analyze conjunctions first, and then the series that I'm going to do will be of one particular planet with the rest of the other planets, and then I will do that series, for example, Mars with the other 8 planets in conjunction, Sun with different planets in conjunction, Jupiter with all the other 8 planets in conjunction, and so forth. So I'll finish that series, and then I will do specific conjunctions in more detail. So I will do a specific video on Mars and Venus conjunction, specific video on Mars and Jupiter conjunction, and so on, so that you have more detailed perspective. So firstly, it's very important to understand how do you read conjunctions, how do you analyze conjunctions. If you're not able to do that clearly, well, and in a detailed manner and very closely, then you will not be able to understand conjunctions. So firstly, what are conjunctions? Conjunctions are nothing but yogs or yogas, and conjunctions don't mean yogas like Jupiter and Moon sitting together in one house, or Jupiter and Moon aspecting each other. Jupiter and Moon sitting together and aspecting together, both will give a Gajkesari yoga. But here the yoga is more of a yuti. Yuti means coming together of energies, and in a very close fashion. If the yuti, the conjunction, is not close enough, then it cannot be read as a conjunction. And hence, firstly, the yuti or the conjunction means that the planets have to be in the same vicinity of each other, even if they are in different houses. But if they are in close degrees to each other, then too the conjunction is seen, though in the horoscope the conjunction may not be seen. Say for example, if a planet is in the first house in the Aries sign at say 28 degrees, and another planet is in the second house at 2 degrees of Taurus. So 28 degrees of Aries and 2 degrees of Taurus, there is hardly a difference of just 3.5 to 4 degrees maybe. Then you have to see that as a conjunction, even if they are seen in different houses. So this is an important thing for us to note, because space doesn't have walls. Houses means we look at house as a physical wall. Space doesn't have, space is empty. So if planets are very close to each other, they are seen as conjunct, even if they are in different signs, even if they are in different houses. So the degrees differentiation is very important. Sometimes the Bhav Chalit chart may also tell you whether planets are placed in the same house, but even that may not give you a important close together conjunction. Just because 2 planets are seen together in the same house does not mean they are conjunct. The conjunction means the degree difference should be less than 7 degrees between the 2 planets, only then they can be seen as conjunct. The more degrees differentiation is there between them, moving beyond 7 degrees, then the conjunction becomes weaker and weaker, and after 10 degrees there is hardly any conjunction between the 2 planets. And hence many times the yogas that you see, a Gajkesari yoga or a Chandramangal yoga or a Shrapit dosha or a Vish dosha that you see may not be as strong as you are analyzing, because the conjunction, the yuti, is not strong enough. The coming together of energies is not strong enough. So if the degree difference is more than 10 degrees and beyond, there is hardly any conjunction there, there is hardly any yuti there. So if the degree difference is not less than 7 degrees, it doesn't bring out strong bearing on the horoscope. It does not bring a strong bearing on the results of that house or the sign. So keep that in mind. The degrees are paramount to see conjunction. Secondly, there are some very common conjunctions. For example, the conjunction between Sun and Mercury will be seen on almost every horoscope, bearing a few where the Sun and Mercury may be seen in different houses. Yet generally the degree difference between Sun and Mercury is very, very less, and hence the Budh Aditya Yoga, Budh means Mercury, Aditya is for Sun. The Budh Aditya Yoga is one of the most common yogas in any horoscope. It is seen as a Raj Yoga definitely, but it is such a common Raj Yoga that many times to be reading into it and to analyzing and to cull something out of it doesn't make so much sense, unless the degree difference between the two is good enough, but not either very, very less, where Mercury is almost combust, where Mercury and Sun difference in degrees is just less than 2 degrees or 3 degrees, then the Mercury combustion is almost complete. Or if the degree difference is more than 8, 9, 10 degrees, then that conjunction is not there. So if the degrees difference between Sun and Mercury is between say 6 and 10 degrees, 6 and 11 degrees, then you can say that there is a conjunction, good enough conjunction, then the Budh Aditya Yoga comes into play, otherwise not. And hence many times reading into or analyzing a Budh Aditya Yoga does not make sense. Secondly, there are some other common yogas which come together every now and then. So because these planets move very fast, so Mercury and Venus are very, very common, because Venus will be in the vicinity of Mercury and Sun most of the time. In most of the horoscopes, you will not see Mercury and Venus being away from each other more than 3 or 4 houses. Most of the time they will be in the same house or 2 or 3 houses away. Rarely will you see them moving beyond 5 houses. So the conjunction of Mercury and Venus will be common. The conjunction between Sun and Venus is also pretty common, and all the faster moving planets. So all the faster moving planets like Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus and Mars, these will be conjunct every now and then, and their conjunctions are pretty common. These 5 planets or these 5 planetary entities, which is Sun, Mercury, Venus, Moon and Mars, every now and then they will be conjunct. But it is not that because they are common they are not special. They are still special, but they are more common. The most uncommon of the conjunctions as you go up is, for example, between Rahu and Saturn and Ketu and Saturn, because transition speed is very, very slow. These are slow moving planets, yet because Rahu and Saturn move in opposite directions, yet the conjunction will be just close to a decade. The conjunction will happen, but it's still not as common as you may see the other conjunction between the faster moving planets. And the most uncommon of conjunctions is between Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter and Saturn come together roughly around every 20 years, give or take few months here and there. So because they are very, very slow moving planets and moving in the same direction, hence their conjunction happens once in 20 years. So these are very, very special conjunctions, and the most special of conjunctions are especially Jupiter and Saturn coming together in a conjunction in the same sign. For example, now over the last 1 year or so, we have found Jupiter and Saturn being conjunct in Capricorn. Though the retrograde motion has happened in Aquarius and back, direct and retrograde motions have happened back to back, but still the degree difference between them has not been high, and they have been more or less in the Capricorn sign. So this is a very, very special conjunction, and hence over the last 1 year and 1.5 years or so, we are seeing all these challenging troubled times all over the world. The next conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn in the same sign of Capricorn will be after roughly around another 59 to 60 years. So the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn is a special one, and the conjunction coming together in the same sign comes only after another 59 to 60 years. So it is one of the most uncommon of conjunctions, and hence it becomes a very, very special conjunction. And you have to very deep down look at analysis of the conjunction to understand it very, very well, specifically related to the horoscope. For instance, over the last 1 year, most of the babies who are born, more or less almost all of them would have Jupiter and Saturn conjunct in their horoscope, bearing the retrograde period where they may be seen in different signs or degree difference, maybe slightly more. Yet it will be seen as a conjunction because the degree difference is not substantial. So if those people who have been born over the last 1 year definitely have the special conjunction where Jupiter is passing through Capricorn, Saturn is also passing through Capricorn. Here it's also Nijbhang kind of a conjunction which is happening, where Saturn is passing through its own sign and Jupiter is passing through its debilitation sign. A very, very karmic conjunction. Now those people who are in their 59 or 60 years, if they were born 59 or 60 years back, so today they may be roughly between 15 and 60 years, their horoscopes will also more or less show that conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn. And if you look into their lives, and this is something which is a very, very good case study thing for us. If you look at special conjunctions, if you look at special events when children are born, and then you look at their lives over the course of their life, you will see that their lives are very, very eventful, and they will have some similarity, not exactly the same, but they will have some similarity, some patterns which you will be able to see in this horoscope. So if you are an avid student of astrology, I would suggest try and look into the patterns between the different events, between people who have similar kind of placement, especially if there are special events like the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn happening in the same sign, which happens once in 60 years. The last time Jupiter and Saturn came together was during 1962, which was something which was like almost like a nuclear war between US and Russia. So it was almost like a world war coming together with nuclear powered nations, and it could have been definitely an end of the world during that time. The India-China war also happened in 1962, so our country India definitely faced tough challenges during that period also. So if you see that when special conjunctions happen, special events happen, there are also different special moments around the world, different events also happen around the world, and generally these are earth-shaking movements where the world comes under some challenge or the other. So whenever you see a special conjunction, especially like that of a Rahu or Saturn, Ketu or a Saturn, or Jupiter and Saturn, pay special attention to it and look deep down. The other is, you also see the Vish dosha, which is the conjunction between Saturn and Moon, in a special light because it's a Vish dosha. But this is also not so uncommon, because Moon's transition happens from nakshatra to nakshatra or from one side to the other pretty fast. So Moon makes one round around the zodiac and comes back to the same position very, very quickly, almost within a month. And hence it's important that when you see this dosha between Saturn and Moon, you will find that this is pretty common. 7 to 8% of the people you will find that this conjunction occurs. So it is a tough conjunction, definitely. It's a dosha, it's a challenging dosha, but it is not so uncommon. But definitely the conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn will be very, very uncommon. It will happen only once every 20 years, and in the same sign will happen once in 60 years. So deep down understand which is a conjunction which is more rare, which is uncommon, which is more special. And some conjunctions are impossible, like Rahu and Ketu. So I will not tell you why it is impossible. You answer in the comment section why Rahu and Ketu conjunctions are impossible. Now, how do you see conjunctions in the divisional charts, for example? Do you see conjunctions in divisional charts or not? You see a conjunction in the divisional chart only when the conjunction is also happening in the Lagna chart. Say for example, if two planets are in close vicinity and proximity seen in the Navamsha chart, say for example Moon and Jupiter are seen closely in the Navamsha chart. So will you see that as a Gajkesari yoga in the Navamsha chart? No, unless and until they are also seen in conjunction in the Lagna chart. So in the Lagna chart, the conjunction will be seen only when they are close together and the degree difference is less, and hence when they are seen in the Navman chart also in a conjunction, when they are also in conjunction in the Lagna chart, then the yuti or the conjunction is very, very tight, because the degree difference between the two planets is less than 4 degrees. Only then they will also be seen as conjunct in the Navmanch, where they see Vargotama. So Vargotama conjunction will be seen only when the degree difference is less, and hence that conjunction is tight. However, if the Vargotama conjunction is also between Sun and any other planet, then that planet is more or less, you can take it as combusted, and so that has to be seen. So any conjunction which happens with Sun with any planet, if the degree difference is less than 4, the planet can be safely be taken as combusted, and hence you need to look at it as a combusted planets event, combusted planets results, rather than seeing it as a conjunction. I have made a video on the results of combusted planets. I have made 2-3 videos. I have also made combusted planets in 12 different houses. Please see that video as well. So any conjunction with Sun, where the Sun and planet conjunction is also Vargotama in the Navmanch, take it as a combusted planet. Secondly, even if the combustion is not seen, the Vargotama is not seen in the Navmanch, but see the degree difference. Even if the degree difference is 5 or 6 degrees, then the planet can still be taken as more or less closely combusted. And so its manifestation is different. I am not going to talk about the manifestation of conjunct planets, different planets now. That is left for the series. And for this particular one, combusted planets, please see my video which I am talking about the results of combusted planets in the 12 different houses. Then when you look at certain conjunctions which are special conjunctions, which are with Rahu or Ketu, here it is not seen as a conjunction, but it is seen more as an eclipse. Especially again if the degree difference between Rahu and the other planet is very, very less. Especially when it concerns Sun and Moon, when they are in close proximity with either Rahu or Ketu, they are seen as eclipsed planets rather than a conjunction. So if the degree difference between Rahu and Sun, for example, or Rahu or Moon, or Ketu and Sun, or Ketu or Moon is less than 5 degrees or 6 degrees, maximum 7 degrees difference, more or less the planet is taken as eclipsed. If the degree difference is between 7 to 10 degrees, then it can be seen as a conjunction between Rahu and Sun or Rahu and Moon. Don't see it as a strong eclipse. And if the degree difference is more than 10 degrees, say 12, 13, 14 degrees, then don't read it as a conjunction, neither read it as an eclipse. And care has to be taken. Many astrologers go wrong, especially when they see conjunctions, because they see the planets together in the same house, they take them as conjunction and they analyze the results accordingly. That is a wrong, that's a fallacy. Unless the conjunction is very tight, close together, you don't see it. And if the conjunction is with Sun, you have to see it as a combusted planet if the degrees is less than 5 difference. And with Rahu, you have to see the planet as combusted, especially connected with Sun and Moon, if again the degree difference is less than 5. So keep that in mind, how you see conjunction with special planets like Sun or Rahu or Ketu. Then you have to see conjunction as different manifestation based on what type of planets are coming together. A conjunction which is of benefic planets, which are the natural benefics coming together, is usually seen as a good one. So conjunction between Jupiter and Venus, Jupiter and Mercury, Jupiter and Moon, Venus and Mercury, Venus and Moon, Moon and Mercury. These conjunctions are seen as good conjunctions between these 4 benefic planets, which is Jupiter, Mercury, Venus and Moon. However, in certain signs, if they both of the planets are not doing very, very well, then the conjunction can be seen as otherwise also. For example, Jupiter and Moon conjunction together is a Gajkesari yoga. It's very, very powerful yoga. But it's better off it happens in, say, for example, Aries or in Taurus or in Cancer or even in Leo, to an extent even in Libra. However, if this conjunction happens in Scorpio or if this conjunction happens in Capricorn, then it is definitely a trouble-making conjunction rather than an auspicious results-giving conjunction. So it is also important to see where the conjunction is happening. Thirdly, which house the conjunction is happening. Even if the conjunction is a good one, like Sun and like Jupiter and Moon coming together, even in Aries sign, but in the 8th house, then definitely it has to be read differently from Jupiter and Moon conjunction in Aries, but in the Lagna. So the houses will also manifest itself, and the conjunction will also throw up challenges. basis what the planet stands for, what the planet is a karak of, that has to be read into the conjunction. And you cannot see Jupiter and Moon conjunction in any house, in any sign, as auspicious and seen as a good Gajkesari yoga. So care has to be seen how you deep down you look at the conjunction. So even the conjunction between benefics sometimes may not be as good, basis which sign it is, which house it is. And if the sign and the house is bad, say for example Jupiter and Moon conjunction in Scorpio in the 8th house is a troublemaking conjunction, it is not so good a conjunction. Definitely challenges will be more and auspicious results will be very less. Same thing in the 8th house if the conjunction between Jupiter and Moon is in the Capricorn sign, for example. On the other hand, conjunction between malefics are surely troublemaking conjunctions, and these are especially generally seen as doshas. For example, a close conjunction between Rahu and Saturn is a Shrapit dosha. A close conjunction between Rahu and Mars is an Angakaraka dosha. A close conjunction between Saturn and Moon, even though Moon is seen as a benefic, is seen as a Vish dosha. So conjunction usually between malefics is not a good conjunction. It is usually seen as a dosha. Conjunction between a malefic and benefic also is a dosha unless they are friendly planets. Say for example, Saturn and Venus together is not a bad conjunction. Saturn and Mercury is also not such a bad conjunction because Mercury and Venus are among the Dainava group. And Moon, for example, Moon, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, these are the Devata group. So keep that in mind, that whether that particular planet is of the Dainava group or the Devata group. And so that those conjunctions will work okay even if the conjunction is between malefic and a benefic, if they are from the same group. So for example, Sun and Moon conjunctions with a degree difference of 6 or 7 degrees is a good conjunction, though Sun is a malefic where Moon is a benefic, because they are from the same Devata clan. Similarly, between Saturn and Venus, Saturn and Mercury are still seen as okay or good conjunctions also, basis which sign, which houses they are. Then you have to see whether the conjunction is between the functional malefics or functional benefics. So in certain ascendants you will find that even a benefic seeming planet like a Mercury or a Venus or a Jupiter or a Moon, for that ascendant can be a functional malefic. Though it's a natural benefic, it may be a functional malefic. So you have to read that it's a functional malefic for the sign, so it is a trouble causing problematic conjunction. So for example, for a Taurus ascendant native, Moon and Jupiter conjunction happening in the 8th house is a tough one. Though it is happening in the Sagittarius sign, but it is in the 8th house, and Jupiter ruling the 8th house for a Taurus ascendant native becomes a functional malefic for that particular ascendant. So you need to deep dive and understand for this particular ascendant, is that particular planet an anemic planet or malefic planet. Say for example, how is the easiest one to see is the 3rd house ruler. So any planet which is the 3rd house ruler for a certain ascendant is a malefic for that ascendant. So for Aries ascendant native, Mercury is a malefic. For a Taurus ascendant native, though Moon gets exalted in Taurus, yet Moon is a functional malefic because it rules the 3rd house. So these are some small easy pointers. If you remember, it will be easy for you to be able to understand conjunctions. So read conjunctions very, very intricately, very, very closely. If you don't see all these things intricately, you don't see, then there is a challenge. The other thing is, even if the conjunction seems to be good enough, it seems to be in a good house, in good signs, the degree difference is also not too high or too low, so it's being read as a conjunction. However, if there are malefics involved in the conjunction, either with another conjunct planet comes in, a malefic comes into the conjunction between two benefics, for example, Rahu is placed with Jupiter and Moon in conjunction, definitely it is spoiling the conjunction. Same thing, if more than two malefics are aspecting even a good conjunction, then to they spoil the conjunction. So the way you read that conjunction, the way you analyze that conjunction should be different. So keep all these pointers in mind about the degree difference, whether it's a special conjunction, uncommon conjunction, common conjunction, very, very rare conjunction, trouble causing conjunction like where the planet is combusted, eclipse conjunction, dosha oriented conjunction, all of this you have to read into only then you'll be able to understand and properly analyze conjunctions and then be able to manifest them properly. Otherwise, one of the most error prone analysis that we can do is when we get the conjunctions wrong. And usually every horoscope will have some or the other conjunction. If nothing else, you'll have Sun and Mercury conjunction. If you're not able to read the conjunctions right, then definitely you're in spot of bother on the analysis. So friends, keep these pointers in mind. Again, go back and look into your horoscope and see whether you're understanding and analyzing a conjunction right, appropriately or not. Otherwise, you could be going on a different tangent, not understanding the conjunction right, not understanding therefore the dasha period right, the transits right, and then you may be bound to make a mistake. So friends, like this video, share this video, and please follow me on Instagram on the same handle, Astro Assurance. And till some other time with some other video, this is your friend, astrologer and guide Irfan signing off.